Joe's Inner Child Podcast.
First of all, how did you get involved in this film? And when did you get involved in this film? When did you begin working with this?
The first time that I heard about this film was a few years ago. I was at a premiere for a different feature film I was in called You Can't Have It. And I met the director, Lily Mata, at the after party. And she approached me and expressed interest in working with me on this film. And I was like, absolutely, send me over the script and we'll talk about it. And I'll read the script and then you let me know who you have me in mind for. And so she sends me the script. Now, keep in mind, the movie that she had just watched I was playing like a frat bro. Like, it was huge comedy type of film. And so I'm expecting a script that, like, a character in that script to be something of the lines that she just saw, for her to think that I could pull it off. And she sends me the script and I'm reading it and I'm just like, that was a lot heavier than I expected it to be. I'm into it, but I have no idea who she wants me to play. I was like, I really hope that it's like Travis, because that character has so much depth and like such a good arc. And, but I was like, I don't know. I'm not going to read into it. And, so I hit her up and I was like, hey, I read the script. I really enjoyed it. Like, I'd love to keep talking with you about it. And she was like, sweet. What'd you think of Travis? And I was like, he was my favorite character. Like, I thought he had the most going on. He was super deep. It seemed something I would love to tackle. And she was good, because that's what I want you to like play, I think. And I was like, really? Like, you got that I could do that from what you just saw? Okay. And so I got to hang out with Lily and like to really talk about the script and like get into her mindset of how she was when she was writing it. And then she was able to pick up the funding to shoot it. And she called me and she was like, hey, I need you to come audition for it, because now that I've got funding going on, like we're going back to square one. And I was like, absolutely, no, I completely understand. Like, that's how the industry works. And showed up. And in my first audition, I was paired with Gregory Zarian and Anastasia and Antonia. And it just clicked immediately, the three of us. And it was super rad that we ended up ultimately getting cast, all three of us together, and being on set. And we all like to say it happened in that room, like right there. Like, we all just clicked and it happened. And it was really cool.
And the film comes out this month, right? Is it on the 20th?
Yeah. The 20th, yes.
On 4/20.
The first interview I did, they asked me if there was any significance with that. And I was like, not to my knowledge. I think just because it's a day.
Right, yeah. That's funny, though. Did you have any personal war or PTSD experience that you pulled from? Or is this something that you researched before you played the role?
So as soon as I found out that I had been cast, my mind immediately, I was like, I want to sit in on a support group. I want to go out and meet some people and talk to some people. And I was like, hey, what was the wiggle room? Like, can we get any of that happening? And they were like, well, we're filming next week. And I was like, oh, okay. So no, we don't have that wiggle room. So I immediately hopped on message boards. I did some research online. I spoke to some people in my life who have dealt with PTSD and who have dealt with war, and really just took in their knowledge and their experience. And it was very powerful to hear these stories, read these stories online, and just learn about what's going on, because ultimately, I don't think we realize how big PTSD can be and like how many people in America struggle with it. I think there was a statistic I was reading that like 1 in 5 adults suffer from some form of post-traumatic stress. And I'm sure that that's a pre-COVID study. Like, post-COVID, like, who knows, like the year that we've just gone through. So it's actually kind of cool that this film is coming out during this time when it's a film ultimately about people facing their morality, like coming face to face with it. And we've all kind of done that this year. So I'm really excited to see how people react to it.
So on that point then, are there any, I know you only had like a week between this point where you got cast and the point where you began filming, but was there any like characters in any other mediums, whether it be like film? I see that you're a huge comic book fan.
Where did you
like,
get that idea?
well, yeah, and not to mention I see Trunks. It looks like Android 18 back there.
Oh yeah.
You've got plenty of stuff back there. So I'm curious if there's any like characters or any storylines that you kind of look to outside of just speaking to real life experience to base this character off of.
I was very fortunate for another job that I had. I actually got to work with I forget the gentleman's name. I'm so bad with names sometimes, but the man who worked with Bradley Cooper on American Sniper. And so he gave us a lot of insight on that film. And so, and that's another tremendous film about PTSD and the things that it can do. And so I definitely tried to draw a little from that. I mean, Bradley Cooper is a phenomenal actor and such an amazing case study for me sometimes. And as far as from comics, funny enough, I mean, he's just now kind of getting explored in like the modern media with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but John Walker is a character that is very damaged and has that kind of feel to him. And so definitely kind of drew a little US agent.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, you deep cut with the U.S. agent. I mean, not so deep anymore now that Falcon and Winter Soldier's out, but yeah, like you said, like as far as comic wise, I can totally see where you're going from with that. And now that I'm sure you're caught up on the series, even more so.
I like the they're taking it, and so.
And it's nice that like the series will end like the week that this movie comes out, so it'll be very, very nice timed for people who are looking for more of that. It's just
absolutely. And I mean that's the latest episode is just another, like, without getting spoilers, but it's just another thing that shows like when you're in a condition like that and you're dealing with this disorder in your brain, like even the most decorated like soldier, noble man can snap. And so
yeah, definitely, it's insane. I love how deep they go into the character, because like when they introduce him at the end of the first episode, you're like, oh, I'm gonna hate this asshole, and then so excuse my language, and then that turns around. So I wanted to know, there's a little bit of physical shots, like when you're in the home and you have like a physical altercation. I was wondering if you did the physical stuff yourself or if you had like stunt people do those scenes.
So we did have some stunt people on set. Talon Chat was our stunt coordinator, great guy. And most of that scene is me fighting him. Actually, he stood in for Dallas. And so most of that scene is the two of us fighting. There was one scene where there's one shot. It was only one shot that they didn't want me to do for some reason. And so I'm blanking on his name, Lucas. I forget his last name, but he's on the IMDb, and he stood in for me on that shot. And super, super cool guy. Both of them were awesome to work with, and we had a blast figuring all that out.
So did you shoot your scenes chronologically? Because there's like, as far as like the movie goes, because there's so much that happens in the film that doesn't involve your character. I was curious about how you shot your scenes, how that was approached.
Yeah, and that's exactly how we did it. We shot it chronologically, which is something that I've never done before. Like my first day on set was the interrogation that you flash back to in the film. And then after that was the house. And then we went to the art gallery, and we went in order for 2 weeks. And it was really cool to kind of grow with it. And each scene was building off of what happened in the previous scene. And it was a really cool way to make a movie. I hadn't done that before. And like normally you jump around, and because you like not everybody is in every shot. And so when you've got somebody there, you want to try and get as much work for them of them as you can in a day. But we shot everything in order, and it was intense. Like, I know Greg likes to say, like, we really became a family in that room. Like, it was insane. Just all of us really were trapped, and we all were just living through it together.
Well, it's like COVID. It's like COVID, you know. But I wanted to ask, am I allowed to touch on Mystery Inc. at all? Because I know that that's another big project that you
Of course.
working on.
Of course.
So I have not seen it. Does that come out this year, or was that last year?
So as of right now, there's only trailer out.
Okay.
We were set to, we filmed a spec trailer so that we could get it out there, gauge interest, and raise funds to film a pilot episode. And we were all set to shoot that in May of 2020, and it was going to be released in July. Well, COVID had other plans. Literally right after we dropped the trailer in the Indiegogo, COVID hit. We were all at home. We took that time to do as much pre-pro as we could. We got it to a point where we were ready to go. And it's just been very difficult. Some of our locations deal with places of learning, and they're unfortunately, rightfully so, it's hard to shoot there right now because they want to protect their students, which I completely agree with and completely understand. And so as of right now, we're kind of in limbo. We have other things working in the works right now that I'm not allowed to talk about, but they're good things. And
is one of them the Spider-Man thing? Is that one of the things you're not allowed to talk about?
Oh, I mean, I can talk about that. I mean, like with Mr. Incorporated, good things.
Oh, I thought you were talking about other projects. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, no. Like, we are things that could possibly take it even higher of a level than we ever dreamed. But nice. I can't talk about it, unfortunately, except for to tease it. But so that's where we're at right now. That's why it hasn't actually come out yet. I do keep up with the YouTube as much as possible. I see comments all the time of people asking when it's coming out, and I really, really want it to be now. But unfortunately, with the pandemic, we've had to take a slow roll. But now that people are getting vaccinated, things are amping back up. We are in the midst of doing what we're doing over here. That's the really cool big thing. But we're also figuring out scheduling to try and shoot the pilot while that's happening and figure out everything together.
Is there just one dog that you're shooting with?
Yes, and he's amazing.
What's the dog's actual name?
The dog's name is Thor von Schultz, the most regal of dog names.
I was gonna say, like, how amazing.
Yeah, but he's such a sweetheart too.
So were you a Scooby-Doo fan when you were a kid? Obviously you like comics, anime. I can see Pokemon stuff over there. But the Scooby-Doo,
some Scooby-Doo stuff right up here too.
I see that, and I see the poster with Velma and Shaggy.
Oh yeah, that's that right there is
there you are.
The concept art for our show.
Nice. And
that was by Brianna Cherry Garcia. You can find her on Instagram.
Okay, and I saw your you had a Power Ranger thing up there too. You've done multiple. You did a Power Rangers thing as well too, where you played the Red Ranger, didn't you?
Yes.
So there's just a couple of things I want to touch on. I think it's funny because I see the little things in the background, and it reminds me of different IMDb credits that you have.
I like to get little souvenirs for different things.
Right. Yeah. And I saw that you were. So can you tell me about the Power Rangers thing a little bit? And before I come back to the Spider-Man thing?
Yeah, absolutely. So Power Rangers Shattered Past was the brainchild of Colin Bass. He is awesome. He's one of my close friends. But I met him through Nerdbot Studios. I went to a taping of a show they were trying to get off the ground at the time, and I was just happened to be on set, and him and I met for the first time, and he was like, "Hey, do you look like you could like act and fight and stuff?" And I was like, "That's a weird thing to say to me, but sure, yeah." Like, what are you getting at? And he was like, "I have this idea. Do you like Power Rangers?" And I was like, "I love Power Rangers. Let's talk." So he pitched me the idea of Shattered Past, and I was immediately like, "That sounds really cool. Like, when are we doing it?" And so he wrote up the episode, and the first episode, we shot it in a parking garage, like nothing fancy, and it blew up. And to fast forward to where we are now, like we're filming our fourth episode. We just had Catherine Sutherland, the Pink Zeo Ranger, and she was the second NNPR Pink Ranger. She's in episode 4, and so we filmed with her, and it's been a dream. It's a good time. We just had a comic book come out.
Really?
Yeah, and one of
Nice.
the artists who makes the comic book is also an artist that works with Boom Studios, who does the Power Rangers comics. So it's also like, it's really cool to see, like on the page right there is a drawing of me.
Can I see the image? I know you moved the camera a second ago. That's really cool. So is there, like, I'm sure I can find a link so that I can link people to the actual comic on
Yes.
the article.
So
right?
the physical copy of the comic book is available on the Crimson Vision Studios Patreon.
Okay,
And
cool.
you can also get a link to the digital copy there as well.
Okay, because honestly, I will focus an article just on that itself. That way you can get promotion for that, and it'll also cross promote for 86 Melrose as well. And the same thing with Mystery Inc. That's the good thing about comic book movie, because we focus on anime. We have separate things for anime, cartoons, action, like for each thing. So it's like I can plug your stuff just by having you answer a different question about different things and get you as much promotion as possible.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that.
No, of course, man. Of course. I just wanted to make sure that you know that my random questions will be worth something and not just my interests. They will pay off to you.
Either way, I love just hanging out and chatting.
Nice. I do too. That's my job. So I wanted to know then about Spider-Man. If you can tell me a little bit about the it's called Monsters in Manhattan. Is that what it is?
Okay. Yes. Monsters in Manhattan. Because I'm in 2 Spider-Man projects. One's animated and one's live action.
Oh,
but,
so I know you're voicing Kong.
So in that one is live action. I'm playing Kenny Kong McFarlane, and it's been a lot of fun. So Brandon Mello is the brainchild of that, and he's playing Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and he hit up me and my girlfriend Jessica on Instagram, and he was like, "Hey, crazy idea. What do you think?" And we looked at each other and we were just like, "I don't know. I mean, Boston in a pandemic, I don't think that that's very responsible." And so we told him our concerns. We had a Zoom call with him, and it was great. They figured everything out. We went out and we shot in a school in Boston, because you can do that there. I wish we could do that here for Mr. Incorporated. But so we shot for a week, and it was awesome. We had a great time. We got some really cool footage, and they've been working on it for a long time. All I know is the school scenes. I don't know much about anything else, so I can't give too much dirt.
I was doing a little bit of research on it. And Jessica, she's your girlfriend is Jessica
Chancellor.
I noticed you guys were in a lot of projects together.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask, were you guys, I didn't realize she was your girlfriend. Were you guys co-stars and then you guys started dating, or did you guys pursue this together acting?
So we actually met because of Mystery Incorporated. So I was looking to cast a Daphne, and I was given her name. And so I reached out to her, and we chatted and figured out if she'd be good for the role. And she was perfect, of course. And just through working through Mystery Incorporated, we've been working on it for a long time. And the version of the trailer that's out is the most up-to-date version, but it's been trials and tribulations, but we met through that. And so it's very near and dear to us. And we, just like friend Daphne, we started our relationship because of it. And it's been awesome.
That's really cool. Because I've seen that you guys work in multiple projects. I mean, I know the Spider-Man one, but I think, was she in the Power Rangers?
Yeah. She's so she was a hologram in episode 3, and now she is in episode 4. She's making her actual debut in episode 4, and she is also in Power Rangers First Ninja and Rise of the Ninja for Nerdbot Studios.
Nice. And so I know you said you're talking about episode 4. Is that coming up? Is that already completely filmed?
Yes. So it's in post right now.
Okay.
There's an exclusive clip buried at the end of a live stream on Nerdbot Studios YouTube that we did the other day.
Okay.
But May 26th, I believe, is the release date for that.
And where
25th.
where does that release to? Where can people find it?
Crimson Vision Studios YouTube channel.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'll make sure that I put that one in the article too, because that's exciting. It's Power Rangers Shattered
Past.
Thank you. I almost said Shattered Dimensions because this is a Spider-Man game, but yeah. So I don't want to keep you for too long, but is there any?
Oh, no worries.
You said you had another Spider-Man project in the works.
Yes. I'm voicing Matt Murdock and Daredevil.
Nice. You kind of look like him.
Thank you. This is my second time playing Daredevil. I did an episode of Character Select for Nerdbot Studios, which is almost like it's like a beatdown video. So you got two heroes and they fight, see who would win. And then we did Daredevil versus Green Arrow, and so that was my first dip into getting to portray the Devil of Hell's Kitchen, which was amazing. One of my favorite characters, so that was surreal. And so I mean, bring it back to Brandon. There's this company that's making a continuation of the new Amazing Spider-Man, the new animated series. That's what it is. And so that was on YouTube or on MTV. Neil Patrick Harris was the voice of Peter Parker.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, they did the one season, and then everybody wanted a second season, but they didn't do one. So they've actually gotten together, and they have this amazing animation team, and they've completely matched the animation style, and they're making a season 2 on their own, like fan
way.
Yeah.
No way. I have that on DVD. Like I have I swear to you, like I love Peter Parker. So like I've seen like all the different animated versions. And as soon as you said Neil Patrick Harris, I was like, oh, definitely. I remember that when I have it. Somewhere in our moving stuff, we're in the middle of moving from Ohio to Arizona, but somewhere packed away is one of the few physical media things I still have is actually that DVD. That's really funny.
Wow.
So I think that's cool that there's can you tell me who's in charge of that again? The new season?
I'm blanking on the name, but you can find them on Instagram at I believe it's TNAS Continued.
Okay, cool.
But if you shoot me an email, I can get you the for sure names and email them to you. But I was approached by Brandon Mello from the Monsters of Manhattan. They approached him to voice
the one that's Peter Parker. And okay, cool. So they approached him as well.
Yeah. So they approached him to be Peter Parker, and then they pitched him the story, and he was like, "I know somebody who would be the perfect Matt Murdock." And so he sent them my way, and we did some VO tests, and we're moving forward, and I'm super excited. It's my first real VO project.
That's awesome. So I know that you've, done Daredevil. You did Deadpool for a like X-Force auditions thing. I think it's so funny. Are you heavy into cosplay? Because a lot of the things I've seen are like, oh, you were Deadpool for this, or you were something for this, just like you were different characters. And I was wondering if like you work on those suits in your free time, or if that's just something that you happen to get cast for a lot.
So it started as that. It started as this is something I get cast for a lot. And I'm not very good at making my own costumes. I leave that to Jessica. She's fantastic at it. She does some amazing things. And she's a really talented, well-known cosplayer. And so when we started dating, it was just natural to like, hey, I do this all the time anyway. So yeah, let's like, why not? Like I'll grab some costumes. And so, but the two really go hand in hand at times. But in all of those videos, I'm not always wearing costumes that I own. It's a lot of times it's costumes that they provide. But yeah, it started as just, this is something I cast as a lot. And then it became something that like growing up, I always loved comics. I mean, without getting too far into it, like I decided I wanted to start acting when I watched Chris O'Donnell play Robin in Batman Forever, because I was like, I want to be Robin. If that's how I do it, then I guess I'm going to act. Which is a weird story to like decide to be an actor. But
but you were Robin in like a superhero shrink thing or something, right?
Yes, that was quite some time ago. That was.
I do my research, but
you indeed.
Yeah. So you were Robin. So that kind of came full circle. But sorry to interrupt you. Go back forward. So that's how you decided that you wanted to become an actor, was through that. That's fun.
As a kid, I just my mom said that I was too smart for my own good, and I knew that I was not old enough to be Batman. So the logical step was that I should be Robin. And I didn't know how to accomplish it until I saw that it was in a movie. And I was like, oh, well, then I just act. That's how you do it.
And
it stuck.
I mean, you were. And then you were like, well, I'm done being Robin now. Let's go do something else. Was that what you would want to do, like if you were involved in like a really big production, like on a film level, or like something that is involved with like Marvel Studios or DC, would you still like to be Robin? Or now that you've acted more, do you feel like you would prefer to take on a different kind of character?
So I feel like as I've aged and grown, like I feel like I've kind of grown with the character of Jason Todd, and I've grown kind of past my Robin phase, and I'm into the Red Hood kind of area. Nice. I would love to do that. DC Comics was my jam growing up. There's so many characters that I would love to portray, but if I had to choose just one from DC side, I think it'd be the Emerald Man behind me right here. Mr.
Nice. I was wondering if you were going to go Emerald or Scarlet based on the two.
Oh, yeah, they're both right here. But also like just wild card out of nowhere, like Booster Gold would be so much fun.
Yes. And I could see you have the charisma for Booster Gold. You look like it, and you have the charisma. Definitely. I could see that.
I would love it.
It's a fun, because you wouldn't think of Fred and Booster Gold in the same thing, but it's like I could see you like polarizing to both of those things, and then like it gives a fun connection to those characters. I want to know if there's anything else you wanted to touch on before I wrap. Anything else you want to plug? Anything social wise for you or Jessica that you wanted to mention? How about social media? Where can your fans find you?
Oh yeah, I try to make it as easy as possible. Across the board, it's Dade Elza. So the E in Dade and the E in Elza are now one, and it's just DELZA.
Okay, cool. Yeah, then I will also hit you up on Insta to give you my email so that you can just send me that stuff, and we can get that going. I think that is there anything that you want to mention, or I think that's probably a good place to wrap with the socials.
Yeah, I think that's good. I can't think of anything else at the moment. That's I did just wrap on a Western show last night, but I'm still waiting on details for when that comes out. But that'll be out.
What that's called?
It's called Wild West Chronicles. The first episode just premiered on Monday on the Inspire Network, and I will be in 3 episodes later down in the season.
Is your character like a cowboy, or like what?
Yeah. So I play a real life character named Bill Tillman, who was the deputy to Bat Masterson, who was Wyatt Earp's deputy. So we the first episodes I'm in, it's when Bat is the deputy to Wyatt, and I'm just kind of helping out. And then later on, he becomes his own U.S. Marshal, and he joins Heck Thomas, and they become forget the other guy's name, but they become the 3 guardsmen, and they I never heard of them, but they did some like really badass stuff throughout Oklahoma, and like just chasing down outlaws, and it was a lot of fun. I got a big bushy mustache glued to my face, and had a blast.
So you got the outlaws, now you just need to get Red Hood.
Exactly. Exactly. That's all it takes.
Literary Joe's Inner Child Podcast.